This ESPN podcast is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com.
Giancarlo Stanton and the Miami Marlins travel to New York to face the Mets.
Left right field towards the corner. Gone!
The pregame's at 3:30 Eastern, followed by first pitch at 4:30. Saturday on ESPN Radio. SVP and Russillo, the podcast.
Hey, it's SVP and Russillo. Appreciate you checking out the podcast. Ryan went to a movie and was the only person there. I was watching Tom Brady, who I'm convinced is Batman. Chris Long on whether the Brady storyline is at all a story in NFL locker rooms. Ryan and I tell you a couple of teams that we know absolutely nothing about with an eye on the summer and the fall in the National Football League. Some thoughts on our weekend plans. What will be different between Game 3 across the NBA playoffs as each playoff series is tied at 1-1, and Bill Simmons moves on from ESPN. What's next for him and our business? Podcast starts now.
Now, SVP and Russillo on ESPN Radio.
And ESPNradio.com.
This whole Brady thing. My last thoughts on this. His agent is doing the cycle. He did the news hits yesterday. He was on with Mike and this morning. He was on with Dan this morning, Don Yee. And what's he going to say? He's going to back his guy. That's what he is charged to do, and he's doing it. What was interesting to me last night is the absurdity of where we are, just collectively. Brady is I guess had some scheduled visit to Salem State where he's going to be interviewed by Jim Gray.
Safety school.
Dude. They go, excellent communication school there. My favorite part of this whole the theater of the absurd, is that Brady, he's like Bruce Wayne, man. He's like Batman. He choppers in. He's impossibly handsome. And he's unflappable. He's sitting there with no bleeps to give. Chopper in, smile. Everyone there loves him. And I'm good, man. I'm straight. Things are just fine with me. Hey, Tom. 100 and some odd pages, says you probably knew. What do you think?
I don't have really any reaction. Our owner commented on it yesterday, and it's only been 30 hours, so I haven't had much time to digest it fully, but when I do, I'll be sure to let you know how I feel about it.
And with that, he did a finger gun, and he winked and gave everybody the, I'll let you know. I don't know how many hours it takes to sift through that many pages. 30 hours, if you were the guy that was the focus of it, is enough time. Maybe not to fully digest, but at least give us a nibble and let you know how you feel. He's playing four corners with this. We're hearing that there could be the punishment could come down today, perhaps.
Please be at 4 Eastern.
Thank you. Agreed. Just do us all a solid. News on Friday's best buried late, although some broke early today, didn't it? I'm sitting there on the couch and I'm just shaking my head and like it's come to this. Bruce Wayne, smiling, beats me. Not enough time to digest it. People there cheering. It's a tent revival. He gets back on the chopper and Bruce Wayne's going back to Gotham.
But it's the best defense ever. If there's ever a bad book written about you or something you were involved in and how do you respond to this and this guy said this about you, the best thing you can do is, I didn't read it.
Haven't seen it.
Well, it says that you said that in the testimony you didn't know this guy, but then there's this. Can't help you. Did you call him? Well, I don't know what it said. Next question. And if you thought that it was going to turn into a cross-examination here at Salem State
with Jim Gray,
it wasn't going to happen. So because this is different, because people are madder, I know that people are mad that we're not madder, but I can't help you.
This is where we are, collectively.
If he gets suspended 4 games, it's a joke. It's just, whatever. I have nothing else to add to it. I mean, we've done this topic now.
No, I just wanted to talk about the chopper and the theater of the absurd. We're presented by Progressive Insurance. All guests join us via the Subway First Take hotline. Tweet us, 1-800-Flowers.com, Twitter feed, at SVP and Russillo. Have you ever been on a helicopter?
I have not. I plan to own one day, though. So there's that.
I plan to own two. See, there we go. I rode on one once.
Driven.
with Hall of Fame golfer Nick Price, and he knew that I was not too psyched about it, and the pilot was some military trained guy, and they thought it'd be really funny if they went like straight up into the thing where it stalled, then went straight down, then they went through these canyons, and I wanted to fist fight everyone. But we made it, and haven't been on a chopper since, but I am going to buy 2. Tell us about movie night. You tweeted out a picture for all of our listeners and viewers. I'm sure most of them follow you at Ryen and Russillo. They saw the mosh pit that was West Hartford movie night.
Yeah, it was Hartford, though. We kept it real.
Oh, excuse me.
We kept it in the hometown. So yesterday I was pretty excited about my big non-NBA playoff night. Like, everybody goes, oh, this is terrible. I was like, yes, this is great. So played some pickup hoops, played really poorly. And
how much did that impact your mood?
Bummed out probably for about 2 hours. And the problem was I only got one game in because it was so busy. I'm about 20 years older than everybody else. I think I was the only white guy in the game that I played in. And there was, a little bit of sass from the youngsters out there, which doesn't go well. Then you play poorly, and then you look around and go, do I really want to sit here for 30 minutes?
Because the old white guy that was on the squad that just got beat probably isn't going to get grabbed for next.
No, I would have gotten another game in at some point, but 30 minutes of watching these guys play, and apparently I guarded the one kid in these games that can shoot, which doesn't happen very often. Like, so many of these guys just are terrible shooters, but they all just want to take step-back threes.
Sure.
This guy actually made them, so I'm like, okay, this is terrible. So that was we rebounded, though, a little bit later.
Nice.
Ate a little food, and then it's about 8 o'clock, and you're going, get out of the house. Just find something to do. So went to your spot, Fleming, sat there, solo burger, watch a little hockey, messed around on the phone a little bit.
Look busy while that's what you have to do.
Yeah,
you have to pretend to be busy.
Girl checking me out, and I
naturally
make phone calls, just going, oh, her again. So then I go, movies. Like, let's do it. So I'm thinking, True Story, maybe that one, Franco, and the other guy. What the hell's his name?
I don't know what movie we were talking about.
Jonah Hill.
Oh yeah, that.
Yeah. So there's that, and then everybody's on this Avengers thing. But then I think, what I want to see is Ex Machina, because futuristic stuff. You know how I am, end of the world.
Dude, I don't want to correct you. It's Ex Machina.
Well, that's exactly what I did, because the Latin guy behind the counter, for whatever reason, when I went to buy my ticket, solo, I was like, yeah, Ex Machina. And the guy goes, Ex Machina? And I'm like, did I just do that because what was I trying to do there? Was I trying to speak his language? I don't know what that meant. But I bought the ticket, went in, and I was late. I was 15, 20 minutes late, and the theater was empty, so I actually walked back out to make sure I was in the right one. I didn't know if it was Frozen 2 or what was going on.
Did the old theater check.
Right, but they just didn't start rolling anything because I hate the preview stuff. It just takes forever. And I thought I was in the wrong one, but I wasn't. They saw me, they dimmed the lights, and we're good to go. And I tweeted out the pic, and it was empty. And then a couple did show up later, and then they're walking up to me, and I'm going, are you going to sit right next to the one guy in the theater
They did
a few
that?
minutes into the movie? No. They came into the row and then went all the way down. So, good movie, though.
Okay. From the trailers I've seen on television, it appears to be like iRobots crossed with Dangerous Liaisons or something. It's a relationship kind of a thing, but there's robots and there's some real anger issues involved. What am I right?
Believe it or not, it's a robot movie without Will Smith. It's still good.
And
think about that.
Okay. Is it in a world? Is it in the future, or is it now?
It's kind of a few years down the road.
Vaguely
I don't
futuristic.
I went to look it up, but it doesn't. You know what? Time is almost irrelevant to it. But maybe it's 20 years from now. I'm not sure. People aren't walking around with space dogs and stuff.
Using the Outsider Mike Hungry Man 5 Hungry Man scale that he uses to judge video games, how many Hungry Mans would you give it?
I'd give it 3.5 Salisbury steaks.
Wow, that sounds to me like go see Ex Machina.
Yeah. So the guy looked at me. He's like, do you think you're speaking Spanish right now, sir?
Like, hey, don't ask me, buddy. I'm seeing a movie by myself. Yeah. I'm trying my best.
I just had a burger by myself, man. Leave me alone. So that was the night. Got home, watched a little baseball tonight with the guys, and
all right,
was off the couch. It felt good, ready to get back after it.
You noticed the dog sat on the couch and watched hockey. That's what we did.
SVP and Russillo.
You are listening live. Don't get all defensive with Chris Long.
Is that a flare pleat on those acid wash? How does that work?
I wasn't really looking at the pleat when I bought those. I knew I'd have a use for him at some point, but I had no idea it'd be to rock the young blood jersey and tuck it in and look like an 80s dad getting ready to tailgate.
It's an accurate portrayal of
80s dad.
Of 80s dad tailgating is exactly what that looks like. Again, and for those listening on radio, go check him out on Twitter, and you'll see what it is. As you and your teammates get back together, you commiserate and you talk. Is this Brady topic interesting to you all? What kind of discussions do you have about it?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I had zero discussions that I didn't start about it at the locker room this week. I mean, it's not something that guys are just walking in and talking about. I know it's everywhere on TV, but I've made a real effort to turn off the TV when I saw this Wells report was coming back out. It just, you get inundated with it, and I don't know what it means. I wrote an article for Players Tribune back when it kind of broke, and I was sitting there in crutches, and I had a lot of time. And you can go check it out, but it's my thoughts now with the Wells report. What I'm hearing from people who have read it is it sounds more likely than not that Tom knew something. Oh my God, Tom Brady might have lied. Like the sky is falling. I don't know why that's so hard to imagine that there's some gamesmanship in the NFL. But something's going to happen is what it seems like. And I don't think it's going to be a suspension because you look at the Patriots' schedule, they're opening up on Thursday night against the Steelers. So the NFL had to know this was going to be an issue. I just don't know why they'd put them in the opener if they were going to suspend them. If the draft picks are financial, maybe so. But something's going to happen. I don't think it's the end of the world. I don't hear guys complaining about it. But I do hear people on TV that are kind of bothered by it. And I get some of the outrage, but personally it doesn't move me. Tom was pretty good with inflated footballs in the Super Bowl there against the best defense in the league. So, that's all I know, and that's all I'm going off of.
Chris, sometimes I think that when the public becomes aware of how business is done, sometimes whether it's locker room, sometimes it's interaction, sometimes it's interaction on the field, that they get outraged and the players are going, well, what are you guys mad about? Like, we accept it. This is how things are done. So what did you think? And I'm just curious, like, how do players talk about the gray areas of cheating and getting an advantage over the course of a game? I'm just talking about PEDs here.
Yeah,
I'm talking
yeah.
about, Vaseline on your cooking spray on the shirt,
Yeah.
all that stuff. Like, how do you guys care about that stuff?
Well, I think there's a fine line between gamesmanship and cheating. I think I don't handle footballs, so I don't know. But from the people that I've talked to, I'm not gonna, name their names. So whatever that's worth. But you can trust me, I've talked to people. Guys are like, hey, I tried to pick up one of those footballs. I had somebody deflate it, and I didn't really know the difference. So, if it was something that was going on for a long time, and nobody noticed it for a long time, do you think it's possible it's going on anywhere else? And so my thing is, I think Tom would be pretty darn good throwing a regulation football. And so I'm not going to freak out over this one. And we know that everything was tightened down and everybody was watching in February when they played the Seahawks, and they looked pretty darn good. So I don't hear guys freaking out about it, but I'm sure, opinions are wide ranging. Things that I get irked about are people with, performance enhancing drug issues. I think that's cheating. So it's a thin line. People don't like analogies. I'm not making a clean one, but you get a key player that gets busted for a performance enhancing drug. Does that mean that people should be calling for that team to vacate wins and stuff? I don't, it's a slippery slope. That to me is cheating. And, this thing to me, unless it's proved otherwise, seems like some sort of gamesmanship. And I also don't freak out when I hear that Tom Brady, might have lied. People lie. I'm not saying it's the right thing, but, some fans are acting like, Tom Brady's their children's role model, and what are we going to do now? How do I raise my kids?
Well, that I understand.
So,
it is Brady. Chris Long.
Well, you love him.
Don't you? Anyway.
Yeah, I like Brady.
Let's change the topic. Speaking of slippery, what can you tell us about Save the Mermaids?
Well, teammate William Hayes wholeheartedly believes in mermaids. This is not a joke. He believes that they exist. He does not believe in dinosaurs, but he believes in mermaids. He's number 95 for our team. He's a left end. And he's starting a campaign called #SaveTheMermaids. I think we're going to have some T-shirts made and, some tank tops. Maybe we'll send you some at the show.
Festival tank tops?
Yeah, you can wear them at festivals. Sure, yeah.
The hashtag yesterday was awareness, so that's what you're trying to do, right?
Yeah, we're trying to raise awareness. They're out there. You don't want to run them over with your boats.
He believes this for serious.
Yeah, and he doesn't believe in dinosaurs.
Again, William Hayes, now his 8th season out of Winston-Salem State, so he's 30. So it's not like he's a rookie here.
He's a 30-year-old man. He's a man with 30 years of Earth experience. He believes in humanoid fish women. So I don't know. But can I ask you guys a question real quick? Are you guys breaking up, man? I heard about Bill Simmons. I know the NBA guy, Ryen, that's you. So
wow.
Are you going to break up with Scott soon?
Well, I mean, you just never know what goes on in this world. Stuff happens in life. So who knows?
Okay. I'm not going to dwell on it, but I think you'd be great at whatever you do, Ryen.
Thank you, Chris. Maybe Save the Mermaids will have a place for me if things don't work out.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah.
Geico presents Strange Saving Stories. Astronomers detected an interstellar transmission. It stated, Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more. The implications were staggering. Was the cosmos telling us we could all save hundreds on car insurance with Geico? Or did their radar merely pick up a signal from the nearby Rufus and Clyde's morning show? We may never know.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
SVP and Russillo.
We've been punting this one around back and forth. When are we going to talk about this? Because, Ryen, you were talking off air, and it's about just the NFL. Now that the free agency period's done, the draft's done, there's still some question marks. There's always some movement, whatever. The future of the league, in my opinion, of teams is not going to change appreciably by some minor movement.
No, I mean, we're through the offseason. We're through the draft. There are going to be guys that are cut. There's going to be some training camp thing.
Sure.
I still want to know where the Patriots are getting their cornerbacks, but
yeah, what's up with that?
I don't know, but you're not allowed to doubt any of it, apparently.
Yeah, you can. I was surprised yesterday when we had the thing that gets talked about. We can't hear any more about it. It's Ryen talking about Belichick drafting secondary people. Because that gets brought up a lot.
Yeah, but I'm right. He isn't good at it.
Without question. You're absolutely right.
Well, people brought that up?
No, I just thought it.
Oh, you think I say that too much? Yeah, I've done the anti-Belichick draft thing, but look, he's had bad drafts, and he's been really bad with corners. It doesn't mean everything else stinks. It's okay. Sometimes Heidi Klum has a bad day. I don't know. I mean, I'm just trying to...
What's up with your hair, girl? Today, we're finally going to dig into the idea that we really know very little about most teams right now. Am I right? Most teams or some teams? I know you've got one great example.
The way the league works, that's kind of what it is, right? Mm-hmm. But there are a few that really jump out at me where I go, I give up already.
Ready, go.
SVP and Russillo's NFL offseason scouting report. We don't have a clue.
Go with your heart.
San Francisco. Is this team going to be terrible?
They have the longest odds in Vegas in the NFC West. Not in the NFC, in the NFC West. Bottom of the barrel, no one knows what to make of them.
28 starts, the outside guys, a cornerback, they're gone. Iupati's gone. Patrick Willis retires. Borland retires. Justin Smith, you're still not sure what's going on there. The latest was that he still was kind of undecided. Maybe that means he's coming back. It's okay they moved on from Frank Gore because they drafted Carlos Hyde. They brought in Reggie Bush. The receivers, another year with Bolden, Torrey Smith on the outside. Crabtree gone.
He a derp.
And then it's Kaepernick. Kaepernick wasn't good last year. I don't want to hear it from anybody. He wasn't good, and now Harbaugh's gone.
O-line was bad. O-line was banged up.
All on the O-line?
Nope, just part of it.
Yards, sacked the second most times. Touchdown interception ratio is not great. Didn't throw it down the field. I think at this point Kaepernick is like, I'm wondering if a year from now we're watching Kaepernick sign on with some other team. You know what I mean? Their contract is very team friendly with Kaepernick on that one. There's still so much I like about the front office, the way they've been built the last couple of years, but I'm starting to think that this could be a bad season for the 49ers.
I love that one because there's more there are more layers to that one. The coaching situation too. I mean, their head coach, just the interview. I mean, what?
Tom Sula?
Yeah, I mean, wait a minute, bro.
Are you not in on? You're not all in on JT?
I don't know what's going on there. So that's a great one. I wanted to do the entire AFC East because with the Brady, who knows what happens with this. How does that, if he gets sat down for some period of game?
Dude, Garoppolo's got this.
Dude, understood.
It's kind of like in the town when Ryen is like, who's your weird bank check?
Affleck gave it to that florist in the end, didn't he? Spoiler alert. Shut up. If you haven't seen the town yet, it's your problem.
I don't know that anyone would get any of the references.
You never know. You never know. People got really mad about Snowpiercer, particularly Outsider Mike. At some point, New England won't be the best team in the AFC East. At some point. But at some point, the San Antonio Spurs won't win 50 games every year, and it just keeps happening. I don't know what the deal is with Miami. I don't know what the deal is with the Jets, but I want to focus on Buffalo. Buffalo's got a top 5 defense, both yards and points against, right?
Are you asking me to recite the stat?
No, I'm telling you.
I love so many guys on Buffalo. I'm with you.
Go through their roster. Go through weapons. You add McCoy. You add Rex Ryan. And people can get caught up in the bluster, and they can get tired of the routine. But whether it was Baltimore or New York, largely his guys battle for him, especially when the message is brand new. The question is simply, what are you doing at quarterback? And, I mean, you want to go get Castle? Okay. But that's just from the topic we did a few weeks back where we're talking, you gave us the rotating group of Fitzpatrick, Castle, who else is on the list? McCown, I guess. There's about 5 or 6 different pick-your quarterbacks that just have traded places, and if you have those guys, it's because you didn't have a guy and you're just desperately looking for one. We can like a lot of the pieces of this team, and you and I both do. And you can have some weapons that seem dangerous. McCoy, Watkins, among others, okay. But if this is your quarterback situation and New England's still in your division and Miami might be good too, I haven't got a clue what to make of Buffalo.
They're probably a 9-7 team that plays really hard, and you don't want to play them, and you're just not that afraid of them.
That's what they were last year.
Yeah. Speaking of records, how many games combined have the Atlanta Falcons won the last 2 years?
Combined?
Yeah.
Well, they didn't win a lot last year because the division winner had 7, and so 9.
10. Very good. 4-12, 6-10, and this is a lot like the. Well, how good is Matt Ryan without the playoff thing? Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. Because this roster is so limited elsewhere, and that's why your front office has basically now been trumped by a coach who's never been a head coach before, because apparently Quinn, the new head coach, is going to have final say on all this stuff. There are so many pieces, whether it's the O-line, whether it's not feeling like the defense has anybody that can get after the quarterback. I just can't. Is Atlanta going to be another team that falls under 500 with a quarterback half the league, probably 2/3 of the league would love to have in Matt Ryan?
Stan Steve, is there a team? Do you feel like there's a team that you in this division that you know?
The NFC South.
Yeah.
NFC South.
Yeah, and because I started to bring up New Orleans just because last year I spent the entire season convincing myself that one of these days they were going to look like good Saints and not. Wait, you're just 2014 Saints that aren't a good football team? Is there anybody in this division that you know? I don't.
Not really.
What if Jameis is good? That's the best team. In Tampa. If for whatever reason you were listening to us and you forgot who drafted him. But
You think so?
that team is good. It's like the Bills of the South.
I was going to say that's the roster that
So you love the
How many
roster.
times over the years have we gotten a like that Tampa roster?
Tell me I'm wrong.
I'm not. I'm just reminding myself.
Just as long as Jameis is good.
What if he is?
Playoffs.
Because Carolina, I don't know what they have against Cam Newton. Like, hey, do you want to get him any
He does
receivers?
not like me.
What's that?
Carolina fans do not like me.
I think Cam's good.
What was your sin? What was your sin against them?
I can't believe what they did in the draft. I was totally against what they did.
And what was their fans' objection to you specifically?
Whatever, you said the same thing last year, playoffs, when we went to the playoffs.
Whatever,
So
playoffs.
Yeah.
Cool, but make it a hashtag and print up a T-shirt.
7-9-1, getting the job done.
Playoff win, too. I almost cussed. I was so close to every word that I was going to say. There was we won a game was going to be a bad word. I'm so glad I edited myself.
7-8-1. My bad math.
SVP and Russillo.
No, but not for real.
Stanford Steve still enjoying the fact that he prodded me and bothered me and kept asking a question that I don't have the answer to, which is, hey, you're going to a wedding in North Carolina. Where? I don't know. How many towns can Stanford Steve say in 10 seconds that every answer is I don't know, until I finally snapped. And I yelled at him. I didn't yell. I don't know where it is. And that's
another adjective.
Yeah, I don't bleeping know.
Shut.
Oh, yeah. Did I say that?
Yeah, that's all right.
I'm sorry.
I mean, we were both looking at each other, trying to annoy you, so.
Right, that was the fun little game we'll play.
Because you don't listen to us.
Nope.
You stare at your phone as soon as you go to break. You try to do show stuff, and you have no interest, so that's the price. You're the A-Rod, so that's the price you pay when you're completely ignoring us. And then we don't care that he's listening or not. We're just going to be annoying. So we just kept going back and forth in North Carolina towns. And we couldn't.
New Bern was a good one.
We threw New Bern out there.
I ended with Winston-Salem.
Winston-Salem was the clincher.
Broke the camel's back there, and me being a technology slave was just equated to being a multiple PED user and liar. Those are now equal on SVP and Russillo.
That's what we're doing now. Everybody falls into one category.
That's
liar. Right. Were the footballs a tad squishier? Yep.
Liar.
Same as going on 60 Minutes lying about steroids.
Cheater. Whole career out the window. But I don't know where it is. Somewhere.
You honestly don't know?
Nope. I don't.
Who's in charge of your travel? Me?
Seriously.
No, I'm in charge. But we'll get there.
You're flying, right? You're not driving.
Who would have to get married? What level of friend?
It would be your second marriage for you to get in a car and drive.
To North Carolina.
Right. There's no friend that falls into that category.
Family member. Hey, you got to get in the car and drive to North Carolina. If we're kin, we don't use that word enough, by the way, kin.
We don't.
If we're kin,
noted,
then you need to not inconvenience your kin so much by making me have to drive to North Carolina. So there's no one I would drive to North Carolina to see.
Okay, so you're flying.
That's correct.
What airport are you flying to?
I don't know.
Of course you know. It's Hartford to Charlotte.
No, I don't.
That is the route. Everything goes through Charlotte out of this place.
Raleigh, dude.
I party in Detroit, Minneapolis, Atlanta, and Charlotte. That's where you party when you fly out of Hartford.
All right. Well,
by the way, this reception should be with open arms to you because you sound like you were going to be celebrated.
I will be a delight, as always. Charming.
And what's the downside to this? Because, I mean, we've talked about, there's an age gap with the wife.
Yeah.
And I'm couldn't be happier for you, by the way. Not criticizing.
Nor should you, because you'll follow my lead someday.
Hopefully. And the point is that she still has younger friends, and you don't think about that.
No, because when you're older like me and people are on second and third wives, you forget that some people are taking their first crack at it.
And they're so excited. So everybody has to go.
Yep.
So you're making your wedding tour when a lot of guys are thinking about retiring, or at least outsider thinks you're retiring.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
Do you think I'm messing with you right now?
No, not at all.
Okay, because I'm not.
No, I was doing some self-editing on the fly, and I laid out all of these things that happened in the break I shouldn't say all. Some were covered yesterday. Me constantly having my nose in the phone was Outsider Mike's reason why he didn't want to drive cross country with me, because I wouldn't be a good pal.
That and biscuit stops.
That was Stanford Steve. Stanford Steve said I'd forever be stopping for biscuits because it's well documented. If there's a biscuit stand up around the bend, old Van Pelt's pulling over. Hey, you reckon you make me some biscuits and mustard?
We just stopped for biscuits, Scott.
You reckon? Make me some biscuits. Mustard. I didn't know mustard on a biscuit was the thing until I saw Sling Blade.
Will you be doing any dancing at this wedding?
Thinking about that too. I'm sure there'll be some slower stuff where your boy will wander out. I'm very self-conscious. Very self-conscious. Yeah, because I'm taller.
Yeah.
And because I'm wicked famous, and I don't want people filming it. You know?
I'd film it.
Yeah.
If I didn't know you, I'd get it right up in your grill. Like, what's up, Wingo?
Let's say you're a few vodka drinks into your day, and you're feeling good. Now the tie's a little loose, and now you're doing the Chris Long. You're just going, man. You know, people
Murder dance.
Doing it, and then it's out there. I don't need that in my life.
Just let me know how happy people get when the DJ plays that song, Shut Up and Dance.
That happened.
I know that's a big wedding thing nowadays.
That happened at the last wedding I was at.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Are they still playing that Black Eyed Peas thing?
Going to be a good night?
Yeah.
I didn't hear that one at the last wedding I was at.
I had, I think, 7 in a row. We're like, we get it. Tonight is big deal, memories.
Right, because they get married.
Yep,
it's going to be a good night.
Get this started. And then the DJ wastes that bullet early, and you go, no one's blacked out yet, sir. Like, save that one. You know?
What,
We had a buddy tear an ACL.
Dancing?
Yeah, with other dudes. Like, they just decided to have, like, they're the shorter part of our group. I wasn't invited to this wedding, so I didn't miss anything.
I failed. I'm pretty pleased with our wedding. Went well. I think it was a good.
Your wedding was a great wedding.
It was a good party, a lot of good stuff. But I failed because I didn't have my friends pick me up in a chair, because many of my friends are Jewish, and you do that fun thing and you pick people up.
Yeah, but you're not Jewish.
So what? I picked all of them up, some of them more than once. So why didn't I? Should have made people pick me up. You know what I mean? On principle. And that's a great one. When everyone starts dancing around, man, that's a great dancing song. We do that. If we do Hava Nagila, I'm dancing.
We should do it after a good segment at the calf. Just roll you right in and go,
well,
where are your pretzels?
If we did it when Ray was our producer, we never would have danced. See what I just did? I took 2 games and blended them into one. Who's the jerk? Me.
Major League Baseball on ESPN Radio. This season, the Mets have been a tale of 2 teams. One of the league's best at home and one of the worst on the road.
Towards the corner. Gone!
This weekend, they'll be at home at Citi Field facing the Marlins. Will their home field domination continue, or will Giancarlo Stanton lead Miami to a road win? The Mets and Marlins. The pregame's at 3:30 Eastern, followed by the first pitch at 4:30. Saturday on ESPN Radio and the new ESPN app. SVP and Russillo.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Some massive news this morning in our business. And there are very few people in our business that are of interest beyond our little circle. And we, in this media business, I think we all follow a lot of the same people, and there's a lot of panting back and forth about interest of who's going to do what and whatever. It was several years ago. My deal was up. I was going to go someplace. People talked about it in small ways, in small places, but it's the reach is just the little group of people that are interested in media discussion. Bill Simmons is way beyond that. Bill Simmons' interest transcends just those that traffic in media conversation, sports media conversation, blogs, and things like that. Bill's a tastemaker, man. The guy's got reach, and he's got a huge following. And when I saw that he was not going to be at ESPN anymore, I was surprised. I was disappointed because just personally, look, we're better if he's here. And, I'd be curious to see what the next move is for Bill.
I remember when I was working in Boston. I got there in 2003. I started up at this radio station. It was the one no one listened to. And he was on, off and on. And they were thrilled. Like, I can't believe we got the Boston sports guy on. And he started. He was at Holy Cross. He didn't like the newspaper thing. And I didn't know him at all, but I was coming on the show, and then he came on as a guest. And then the ESPN thing just happened. And then he was down here, and it blew up. And I remember the station that I worked at was just so resentful and silly at times, where they went, oh, that's too bad that he totally blew up at ESPN, because we really had big plans to build this afternoon show around him.
Things worked out.
Yeah, I think they worked out for him, and it's probably going to outgrow our little signal. So I didn't really know him that well. I'd met him a few times, and then you get here, and it turns into this thing with his following, Simmons' following, where it's a lot like soccer. Where I've said numerous times, I can kind of get into soccer a little bit, but what bothered me about soccer was soccer guy. And when I'm getting started in the business, I don't think jealousy is always the worst trait you can have, but there's definitely jealousy because you're going, how does this guy create this one thing, and it's so powerful, and he's going to get paid, and he seems to have more creative license than everybody else. But the reason is he deserved all that stuff. And there were friends of mine that would just recite things he said as gospel. We had a researcher, Justin Ray, who was on the show at the time, in every pre-show meeting, I swear I'd want to kill him because he'd be like, Simmons says, and then, every topic we would do, he'd be like, well, Simmons says, and I'd be like, shut up, man. Like, just, what is this? So you started to kind of look at Bill and go, I think some of the animosity about Bill, because it doesn't matter who you are. If you're really at the top of the chain and he's kind of at the top as far as media opinion people are, I don't know that there's that many guys. I'm not saying he's number one, but I don't know who you're putting ahead of him. And there'd be so many people that would just recite everything he was doing that I think other people in the business could get a little jealous and resent that. But here's the thing. There are a lot of guys in our business that make a ton of money, and I have no idea how it happens. I have none. And everything's a taste. Everything's a demographic. Someone that's older than me I might not like because I'm just younger, and someone that's really, really young and I'm older I might not get. We're all different. But there are guys that make a ton, and I go, you have to be kidding me. This guy has been mailing it in forever. Bill has never been that guy. Like, all of his ideas are generally, like, you may not like a take, you may not like a column. You may think, well, maybe he's not great on TV. How about this? Grantland, I go and read about stuff on Grantland that I never would have read about before in a million years. The basketball show that I go on out there, I love doing that. The 30 for 30. Like, there are a lot of times when Simmons does write something and it's a take, you go, I wish I had thought of that, and I get it. So say what you want. I feel like he delivered at a higher level than a lot of people that have had that kind of reach or ranking, however you would do it, of the top sports opinion guys in this country.
It's SVP Russillo on ESPN Radio. And because the thing that's interesting to me, and this, he is different in that where he would end up became a topic of conversation and debate. Would he stay? Would he go? This and that. And it'll be really interesting to see and in 2015, I look at the Dan Patrick model. Dan left here, and what he has been able to assemble is a great combination of things that have been phenomenal for him. You get a platform and a stage on radio and a television component. You get to do the NFL on NBC. I mean, not that many guys have left, and you can say, wow, it worked out better beyond the walls. It's tough to do that, and what I will be curious to see is in what ways the many things that interest Bill, where he's clearly talented, have outlets. My guess is in the circles he travels in. I mean, you got, Hollywood heavy hitters. I mean, he's got the right contacts. This is not at all a suggestion that somehow he'll stumble. I don't believe that. I just want to know what the outlets will be, and I'll be curious to see what they are.
I just think for him, it's a different level. It's certainly a different level for anything that I'm looking at. It's a different level, I would think, for even you. I mean, you could have been the main face at a new network if you wanted to leave 3 years ago, but you still were going to have that same role. I think when you start thinking about
he's content, beyond me. He's beyond me.
Right, and I'm not trying to, I don't
I listen. I'm doing fine. I'm set.
You're set, not as driven.
Set.
But this isn't even
all set.
This isn't even about Simmons as much as it's about where is all this stuff going. Like, how are we going to be watching TV in a few years? How customizable will all of the content be? Not just for TV, but for radio and all these other things. And the thing that you got to give to Bill again is that he's generally been one step ahead. Like, he knew right away, podcast, bang. He knew right away, Twitter, I'm on this thing, bang. He never did the old guy thing where you go, this is stupid, Internet?
Yeah, he's like, the analogy. He's playing chess. I'm playing checkers. Now that dude's playing chess. I'm playing with Play-Doh.
Rocks.
I'm playing with rocks and Play-Doh in the street. I'm the guy saying Twitter's dumb. I'm the guy that's like, And a guy like him, because he has a specific business acumen where, I think the smartest guys, the guys that absolutely kill it in our business, are the people that own their brand, the role model where you own it. Dan, now he owns it. When you own your brand, and Bill's brand is him. So,
Right, you can't be walking around going, I have a brand, and you go, what are you talking about? You're filling in on this show. Like, okay, congrats on your brand. But you're right, Bill is one of those guys. And that's where you start to talk to smart people about different ways programming is going to evolve. And you go, does Yahoo just buy NFL rights? Does Google do that? Does Google send everybody a little Google Chrome thing, and then that changes? And how is ESPN involved in all these different things? Like, this stuff is really going to change. So I don't know if that's the play. All I know is that going out to Grantland and doing that stuff out in L.A. and doing that basketball show, you'd sit in that room for an hour, pre-show meeting, and it was so many smart people, and Bill's at the head of it. And you'd get done with that meeting, you go, the TV show is now the easiest part because we had so many good people that were smart, challenging you, trying to figure out the way to book the 4 or 5 segments, and then the work is done. So he wasn't just good, he was good at making sure the right people were around him. And, look, it was a success. I think Grantland was a success. I don't know all the numbers and all the revenue stuff and all that. And so, yeah, I'm with you. I'm actually very curious as to what happens.
But the larger point as it relates to any and all of us that do this is that, and our show specifically is the best indication. When you and I started, it's been 6 years.
Yeah, it'll be 6 years in July.
And, the idea of being on a stick, that's an industry term meaning an AM signal or an FM signal. And ours was not on as many as the others, and that was a difficult thing for us to deal with. But we were convinced that as things changed, the way this is described these days is ESPN audio, people would find us. They'd figure out a way to find us, and guess what they did? They found us, and more and more people. And over the last couple of years, and I've crowed a little bit about this because I'm proud of it. It's that people did. Younger people that are going to consume this in a different way, found us different ways. So are we a radio show or are we an audio show? We're an audio show because you're not listening to us on radio or you're listening to us on satellite. Well, the future of our business and the way it will be consumed, is it a la carte? I don't know. But smart people like Bill, are the guys that are mapping that out and figuring out how they can monetize it. And I'll be the guy playing with rocks and Play-Doh in the street. I wish I was smarter. I'm just not.
It's worked out.
Oh, I'm set, as we found out. But, I could be super duper set if I knew what the hell I was doing. Bill does, and will continue, I'm sure.
SVP and Russillo.
Mayo's the best condiment. Every playoff series in the semis is tied at 1. Series shifts to Los Angeles, where the Rockets, I guess, won't take 64 free throws. 64 free throws. I'm guessing we won't see that many tonight. There were 96, by the way, in that game. We had Michael Wilbon from PTI on yesterday, and he talked about the way things shift in terms of particularly officiating and the way that coaches try to tweak and change narratives when they're not playing.
Phil Jackson and Pat Riley made an art form 30 years ago out of challenging the officials on the off day in whatever ways they could do without being fined too heavily. The biggest adjustment, people talk about adjustments in the playoffs, is how you work the officials on the off day. So you think that the Houston Rockets are going to have 64 free throws when they get to L.A. in Game 3? There's zero chance of that.
We both giggled because I think we both know it's true. And you saw some of that with Thibodeau after Game 2 in Cleveland, where it's pointed out that Rose hasn't been to the free throw line, and first he smiles and says nothing, and then he just basically said, he said it without saying it.
So that's why you think that's the most interesting, because where are you at right now?
I believe that you'll see a totally different whistle in Cleveland, between Cleveland and Chicago. Part of it has to be, and you pointed out, Ryan, look, you don't get to the free throw line if you just settle for jumpers.
No, and that's the thing that everybody always wants to turn it into. And when I used to do the shows back in the day with the Celtics, Tommy Heinsohn, if the Celtics were losing, he'd go, what's the free throw disparity? And, if you went, okay, Celtics have taken 12, the Cavs have taken 20, you go, there you go. Now, look, I love Tommy, but it's become this default thing that if your team lost and you had less free throws, then something was fixed. Here's the deal. Houston gets to the free throw line a lot. One reason is because Dwight is fouled on purpose, and because Harden gets to the line. And a lot of it has to do with the way Harden is, and other times you somehow get run over and Harden still gets free throw. So Houston's going to shoot a lot of them. But overall, I think if Chicago loses tonight at home, it's kind of devastating to their psyche.
Curtains, bro. Curtains.
So you think the series is tonight in Chicago?
Yes, because you when you get momentum, and Wilbon also pointed this out, and I agree. Momentum is a game-to-game thing. You don't bring it with you. Momentum is something that happens in between television timeouts in a sport or in a football game when you're on a drive and you get a first down and you get a penalty. You get momentum. It doesn't sustain itself. You got on a plane. It's days later. But when you steal home court, well, now it's simple math. I mean, if you allow the game you stole game one, if you allow that to get away from you in your first game at home, I think it's devastating. I think it's devastating mentally for Chicago as much as anybody.
Chicago also hasn't had great crowds. I thought TNT did a really good job. Allie LaForce was doing some of the sideline stuff, and one of their last playoff games against the Bucks, maybe it was Game 6. I think it was 5.
No,
5,
game
right.
6 was
5
Milwaukee.
They lost. 6 was the blowout in Milwaukee, so thank you. And she goes, yeah, it's kind of dead in here. Maybe it's just one of those deals where you think, it's Milwaukee, let's get through this, guys, come on. And they didn't play that well.
1,000,000% that's what it is.
Well, all right, so let's see it tonight, Chicago.
Come on, it's Cleveland, it's LeBron. They come in there. You'll see.
What if it's bad? What if it's another bad start? What if it looks as bad as
you can say the same thing about the Clippers, who haven't had great home crowds this year too. There's been times against the Spurs it was nuts. And it could be reversed there.
So you're talking regular season playoff atmosphere?
Say again?
Well, what are you talking about? Because San Antonio, I thought the crowds for the Clippers were terrific.
Phenomenal.
They haven't played another home game then.
I'm saying during the regular season,
okay.
the Clippers, we're talking about apples and oranges. So I don't want to muddle it. I wonder if it could happen in reverse, where Clipper fans, it was such a bloodbath against the Spurs. Can you summon that much rage and emotion for Houston? I know the teams hate each other, but can you summon that?
Look. By the way, Matt Barnes,
wow, dude,
to James Harden's mom,
I'd fight.
Oh, I don't care if I lose. I have to hit you once.
Have to. And you know what he said, and if you don't, Google it. I mean, there's things. And
Can
Barnes,
we do it in robot voice? No. Okay.
Yeah, robot voice makes it not real. Can we do a Pulse of the Nation? Then it's not us. Dude, the whole thing. Matt Barnes says it to James Harden's mom. No? Okay.
All I'm doing is not saying a sentence, so please let us know when we can move on, because I thought of 3 different ways to try to do it, and
he apologized after the fact.
How do you apologize after? Hey, dude, that thing I said about your mom wasn't from the heart.
She accepted his apology. We're moving on. It's SVP Russillo Weekend Preview brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. Monday, Golden State, Ryen said.
Print the shirts.
Then they lost, and he said.
We're still printing the shirts.
Game 3, assess.
Can you hit the first one again? Just before you do it, though, this is why there are just people out there that don't like me, because I sound like such a jerk sometimes. Go.
Do you?
Print the shirts. That's like a guy getting thrown out of something.
That is quintessential Russillo right there.
Turning back. Hey, print the shirts. Print the shirts.
Lose?
Or maybe the other guy's getting thrown out.
Lose game 2?
We're still printing the shirts.
Game 3 in Memphis. Places chanting, whoop that trick.
Shooting 2s. I don't see Memphis scoring enough to win 4 of these 7 games. So that's where I'm at. But it's weird to think if you're the Golden State Warriors, how you look at that Clippers-Houston series. Because if you were to say Chris Paul is going to miss the first 2, maybe first 3 games, let us know when Houston wants to come up to Northern Cal. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it NorCal?
NorCal, I believe, is the way the folks out there go with it.
Favorite Steve?
NorCal.
No one ever says NoCal, though, right?
No.
Yeah, that'd be stupid.
I think it's city to city. Denver, what is it, Lodo?
That's part of Denver, lower downtown.
Why isn't it Lodo? Or the W?
Lodow, you mean?
Well, either or.
Because it is Lodo. You asked why it was Lodo and then why it wasn't Lodo.
No, but you went
then there's
Low
High.
Low High?
Yeah, Lower Highlands.
People are trying way too hard to be cute.
Well, Denver can do that. I mean, it's Colorado. It'd be weird if it was just all Denver.
It's your town, bro.
SVP and Russillo.
We talked about earlier in the show, Scott's going out to North Carolina for a wedding.
Not sure which town.
Somewhere.
You don't know where it is, but it's in North Carolina.
Yep.
All right, so you don't know what airport you're flying into. Do you know what time your flight is?
Yes, as soon as I leave here.
Are you going home first?
Nope, not stopping. We learned that lesson. We learned the lesson that there'll be no stop at homes.
That to me, that still was fascinating that day. Where were we flying down south? We had
LSU.
So we had to be on a flight to Atlanta. The flight was at 6 something?
6.
6. So you can make it from here to the airport and get on your 6 o'clock flight, but it's a little dicey because there's Hartford traffic because everybody's getting ready for the weekend.
Woo!
And you left here and you go, I got to stop home real quick. And Steve and I were at the gate going, there's no shot this is going to work. Right?
I would have made it. There was biblical rain, and there was a wreck in the back way that I go, because the way that I go home that I go to the airport will pass me directly past my house. And when I got to my little sneaky area, it was wall to wall. It was dead stopped. What do you want from me? I mean, I'm not stopping at home because, well, there's nobody there. Otis' dog's not there. The fam's already moved on. They're already down there getting set for the big festivities.
So you're solo.
Ooh, you should miss this one on purpose.
Hey, you know what I hit wifey with? I had to stop at home, and traffic, couldn't make it.
What level of, I don't want to call it the divorce meter, so I'll just keep it at the dump meter. But what if you just decided, I don't want to go to this, so I'll make up something?
I'm sick.
I don't feel good.
I think that's a high risk, low reward play. What do I gain by not going?
Solo Van Pelt, the estate for the weekend. Think about all the burritos.
Had one yesterday. Had to park illegally in West Hartford because trying to find a place to park in West Hartford Center around 6 o'clock is like the 7th level of hell.
Did you go to the back parking lot?
Of course I did.
Okay.
And I parked illegally, and I thought, I'm either if I get a ticket, it'll be worth it because then at least I have a burrito bowl.
If I get towed, I'll have another burrito.
See, I don't think we have aggressive towers here. That's a different part of town, down south. But I don't think they tow as much here. I don't gain anything by being here solo. I can't wait. Listen, I can't wait to be a part of this wedding. Celebrate this.
A union of love?
Yeah, man.
That's a good call. You're right.
Come on.
How well do you know this couple?
Never met the guy.
Yep. So
the bride-to-be is one of my wife's dear friends. So
he has so many friends. Like, how many more friends can get married?
Well, when you're a popular gal, there's a lot of friends. Like,
what are you trying to say?
I'm saying that she's well-liked and has a lot of friends.
And the weddings are spread out, too. The last one was in Baton Rouge or something, wasn't it?
New Orleans during Mardi Gras. And that was where my child heard the first time anyone put mother and another word back-to-back at 2 a.m, drunk, holding a green goblet of booze.
Grandmother?
It was actually a young adult that enjoyed themselves.
Oh, I was just trying to guess the word.
Oh, no. It was not grand. Grand did not follow mother. It was a mother. It was followed by another word.
How many more weddings do you have this year after this one?
I think I'm praying this is it.
No way. You got the whole summer ahead of you. There's no way.
Memorial Day yet.
Just the start.
Yeah.
Hey, look,
what if Mikey went as a stand-in?
Could I?
Would you shave your head and go as fake SVP?
If you think I could pull it off, sure.
Don't shave anything.
Just tell people, yeah, I'm Van
Walk into the reception with a butt hanging out.
Yeah, well, Butchagras can be a little difficult.
I thought Scott was telling. I didn't know that I've never seen a guy smoke in church.
Firing off at the bridesmaids and stuff.
Oh, but like, my wife's cool.
All right, I'm going. I tell you what, I'm gonna make my way to the aeropuerto directly. I look forward to being a part of this blessed union. I hope
tweet out some pics, bro.
Yeah, okay, we'll do. Hope everyone has a great weekend. We will circle back and see you here on Monday.
Miguel Cabrera leads the Detroit Tigers into Anaheim to face Mike Trout and the Los Angeles Angels. The pregame's at 7 Eastern, followed by first pitch at 8, Sunday on ESPN2 and on ESPN Radio.